Welcome to Walking in Your Purpose. This is Thursday night 8 with Linda. It's time to discover the gift God has for you. I'm bringing awareness to what God has for you and the purpose behind your pain. If you have passion in your soul and a gift you haven't unleashed, well, let's talk about it. Having served in the United States Army for the last 18 years and continuing to serve as a servant leader to inspire, motivate, guide, and assist readily, I'm bringing a contemporary vibe to being happy and living your dream on purpose. Each week, I will introduce you to a life filled with purpose and how that purpose is being used to glorify God, describing the tips, resources, and strategy to set you up for success. So now, let's jump right in and discover the gift God has for you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chandra Gore, and I am a Lens of Faith. Tonight, it's all about encouraging you, encouraging yourself to get through whatever it is that you're going through. I have a repeat guest here on the line with me tonight, Clinton M. McCoy. How are you this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. No complaints.
That's good. That's wonderful to hear. You know, I've been watching you moving and grooving, and I see you're building your brand. You're building your empire, and that is great to hear, especially with the background that you have. Now, let me just tell the listening audience a little bit about you. Clinton is a loving father, an entrepreneur, master life and social media branding coach and strategist. He's also the author of The Reverse Effect, The 7 Life-Changing Principles. Clinton M. McCoy overcame childhood trauma, juvenile delinquency, and years of self-destructive behavior by breaking free of the chains of his past. He has devoted his life to helping others to pursue, discover their purpose, and get the courage to pursue it. Clinton M. McCoy is a personal development and goal achievement expert with a passion for helping people unlock their potential. Drawing from personal and academic experience, Clinton has transformed his life on a personal, professional, and spiritual level. Today, Clinton is an accomplished personal development coach, marketer, and brand builder, mentor, and successful businessman. He believes in giving back to the community through building his Chess for Change program, designed to help at-risk youth learn how to set goals and achieve them. He lives his life as proof that you create the life you want. Tonight, we're going to talk extensively about, Tonight, we're going to talk extensively about his current project. And Clinton M. McCoy, if you have watched him or followed him on social media, he is definitely making a name for himself. He has built Ex-Offenders of Excellence program from ground up. He's the CEO and founder. So just jumping right in, Clinton, tell us all about the Ex-Offenders of Excellence program.
Well, the Ex-Offenders of Excellence is a program that I put together to help people that's been arrested, people that's been incarcerated, at risk, and also the family members that's been affected by incarceration, be able to build a bridge from prison to prosperity.
Amen. Amen. Now, why did you decide to build that program?
Well, actually, to be honest with you, initially it wasn't a decision of mine. I'm very spirit-driven, very purposely driven. And this is something that I feel that all the things that I've learned to be able to transform my life, it can't just be selfishly about me, that I have to pass this on. And though there are a bunch of other people like me, I know that I am definitely uniquely positioned to be able to help these communities because I'm coming from the inside out.
Yes. Now, I like the mantra that you have behind the National Organization and Ex-Offenders of Excellence, creating a bridge from prison to prosperity. What does that mean? Can you define that for the audience tonight?
Well, just a lot of times, and this is not just physical prisons that I want to help people actually be able to build these bridges from. They're also the mental prisons that's keeping people being small, keeping them stuck inside the past, keeping them stuck inside situations that's not serving them. Mm-hmm. So what this looks like is actually being able to help people understand that it's the way that we think, not just mindset, but it's the way that we think, the way we look at things around us. that's one of the biggest things that's actually holding us back. I think a lot of people are preparing to, I guess they would say, everybody's looking for demons to fight, but nobody's really worried about the demons that they're creating in their own mind. And that's what I try to do at its core. I have different avenues to be able to help that, like helping with financial literacy training, helping with personal development, or better yet, mental health, and also helping with entrepreneurial training, skill set training, customer service, to be able to help people be able to make the changes they want in their life.
Amen to that. Now, Clinton, you have been through trial after tribulation, after trial, after tribulation again. You know, you've been through multiple things in your life, from a teenager all the way until, you know, your present day era. Tell the listening audience, how did you get from point A to point B every day when you decided to make the transition to do something different for your life?
I had a purpose. I had a bunch of purposes that actually lined up, but that's what I had. I had a reason that was bigger than my circumstances. I had a reason that was bigger than the fear that I had of failing. A reason that was bigger than the no's that I knew that I was going to get. So, and that's, to be as short as possible, that's what it is. I had to have a reason bigger than the things happening to me or the things that I've been through to help keeping me pushing and moving forward.
So did you paint a picture in your mind? Did you have a physical picture that you looked at every day? Take the listening audience through what you did daily to help encourage yourself to get from, you know, to come from becoming called an ex-offender to your greatness today, because you're doing great things today. So what motivated you? What kept you on a daily track to success?
You know, what motivated me is I have reached to a point that I really felt like I deserved better. Mm-hmm. I deserved everything that I want. And for some people, there's a stretch because they're taught to compromise. Yes. But I really believe that I deserved everything I want. So from going from 6 figures to 3 years later, working at Kentucky Fried Chicken, minimum wage, only 30-something hours a week, 2 child supports, and then pushing a push lawnmower, I knew it inside. I just knew. I knew that I'm destined to do great and phenomenal things to affect change inside people. And even when friends laughed, you know, people that didn't know me laughed, you know, family, you know, felt I should have settled for less. Mm-hmm. That's what kept me going day to day. So the pictures that I had constantly changed. Because for 1 year, I might have thought this is what I was going to be doing and this is what it's going to manifest. Next year, that one thing added to what I was doing before, but I wasn't doing that much of the one thing. 2 years later, I wasn't doing too much any of the first one thing, but without the first one thing, I wouldn't be to the third and fourth thing. So the pictures changed, but my motivation was internal. I just know I deserve more.
Can you help the person right now that's addicted to drugs, that's an alcoholic, that's walking up and down the street right now today? What would you say to that person that has a passion to paint, for instance, but this person is addicted to drugs, walking up and down the street, and also is an alcoholic and just wants to give up? Talk to that person today.
That's a lot of variables. Mm-hmm. Hard variables. That person, one thing your passion has to be a little bit greater than a passion. You have to make it your purpose. You have to make it necessary. You have to make it more important than the things that actually has a hold on you. And if you don't know how to do that, you got to seek out other people that's been through what you've been through to be able to help you, whether it's groups, meetings, churches, internal prayer. That's what you had to do. But first things first is you have to find a way to get off the drugs, because those things are affecting you on a chemical basis. And we are biochemical beings. If we have other chemicals influencing our processes, it's going to be very difficult for us to get ourselves straight. So that's what I would say. You got to make what you want to do so important that you're willing to go ask for help and receive help.
That's a hard process. I had someone come to me and say, you think it's easy for me to just get off drugs? It's not easy for me to get off drugs.
Yeah, I never said anything about easy.
Yeah. So getting through that transition, it's very hard. Very hard. How did you do it? How did you have family? Did you go to meetings? What is it that you did to help you transition?
Jail countless times, being a disappointment to my kids, prison 4 times, finally realizing that my plan is not working and giving up. I guess you could say hit rock bottom, to where I just really had no choice but to do something different if I wanted something different. And that's exactly what I write about inside my book. There's if someone's looking for a one thing that they can be told to make big changes, they're going to be disappointed.
Yes.
It's the only one thing is a bunch of little things put together consistently to align to where you want to go. And that's why I even talk about in the book, the 7 life-changing principles. And I could have put more, but I just broke it down to those key essential ones. And that's what people have to do. It's a process. And you have to be willing to go through the process. If you're not willing to go through the process and you're just hoping it's going to magically happen, it's possible. I just don't know that formula.
Do you believe that fear is false evidence appearing real?
I don't think it appears real. I think it is real to people. So I think the fear that we hold on to is very real, because fear is actually can be a good thing, because fear can let you know that that's a bear. You're not strong enough to fight this bear. Exactly. You need to run.
Right.
Now, when we actually hold on to the fear and use it as continual fuel, then it's a bad thing. So I don't say fear in itself is bad. I say what we do with fear is a bad thing. Sadness in itself is not a bad thing. It lets us feel, it lets us connect.
But you have emotions. I mean,
when we hold on to it. So emotions is the initial trigger. Oh, damn, I feel sad.
Right.
Wow. Now, when we hold on to it, when everything, the circumstances have changed and everything, and it's 2 years later, and I choose to feel sad. See, that's not an emotion. Right. That's an elevated feeling. And that's our choice. So.
Absolutely, Natoya. Thank you for acknowledging that this is a good topic. I thank you for joining us. I want to take you all. I know you all may not have Clinton's book, but I'm going to read. I'm in chapter 11, and this really sparked the interest in me. He talked about courage and facing fear in chapter 11. Courage, mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. I'm going to say that again. Courage, mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. That's what courage is, according to Clinton.
Yeah,
I tend to agree with this
definition. The definition. And courage does not exist without the presence of fear.
Yes.
So if you think you're going to be fearless and that means you're courageous, it's not the same thing. You have to be in a fearful state to exercise courage.
Yes. So I want to read something that Clinton wrote in his book. He says, the most formidable adversaries of progress are fear and doubt. I'm going to read that again. The most formidable adversaries of progress are fear and doubt. Talk about that for a second, Clinton.
It's so true. And the sad part about it is most of fear and the doubt is made up inside of our head. It's not even like real fear that can hurt you. It's the fear that we process inside of our own mind, which means that we have the power to say fear no more and move forward. But fear and self-doubt, fear and doubt, yeah, they are powerful adversaries against progress. They keep very capable people from moving forward. They keep super talented people from ever doing anything about it. Super passionate people from ever pursuing their passion. Yeah. Super gifted people never really using their gift because fear and they doubt. So yeah, that's fear and doubt is serious.
It's very serious. And you also go on to talk about how fear is a portable prison. People carry it all around from place to place, wherever they go, whatever they're doing, they're constantly afraid and scared.
That's right. And they can, like, it's a portable prison that you have the key.
Yes, absolutely.
People will not unlock the door and walk out. Well, because one, over time, it becomes comfortable for them. It becomes reliable for them, so they don't want to step out, so.
And how you combat the fear is with your purpose. I'm a firm believer that your purpose can counterattack fear any day of the week, because your purpose is what's inside of you that's stronger to allow you to conquer the fear within. Now, you can battle that thing back and forth all you want, but your purpose is locked up inside of you, and it's up to you to get that purpose out. You know what you're great at. You know what you're good at. You know what you're mediocre at, and you know what you suck at. What you just can't get right, but you have something inside of you that reigns high on your list of expectations that you say, I can do this blindfolded. I can do this with my hands tied behind my back. If it's talking to people, if it's taking pictures of people, if it's, counting finances for people, you know what you're good at. So it's up to you to pull that thing out to the outside so you can benefit from it. Because ultimately, if you're helping others, you're going to eventually reap the reward of that benefit, of that purpose.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it. You're moving in it. You're walking in it.
Your purpose don't care anything about fear. Your purpose will tell fear to bring his girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife and prepare a plate for him. And you'll still do when you become in tune with your purpose, because your purpose is going to be stronger than any fear. So, I tell people, when you become purposely driven, you don't care if fear is there or not.
Right. Let's see what the audience is saying. Natoya said, can you also speak on addiction that is not drug related? It can be food, material stuff, etc.
I talk about that extensively inside my book. A lot of times, we're biochemical beings. A lot of times we get addicted to the chemical processes in our body. So when we're stuck in our past, that past has a chemical composition to our body. When we're stuck in our pain, that feeling of pain has a chemical composition to our body. The same thing with happiness. When you feel happiness and love and everything like that, there's a chemical composition. And we get addicted to that just as much. So even when things are seemingly going good, we're so addicted to feeling bad or using negativity for fuel, we go look for that again. And we'll use it. So it's not just even about food or the material thing, because this is how we get blindsided a lot. It's not the material manifestations of the addictions that really gets us. That's the final stages. Right. We become mentally addicted to certain things first, and then we try to look for things to either self-medicate or satisfy us inside that realm. So there's a lot of addictions that people have that they don't even think about. But yeah, like you say, food, relationship.
Right.
Some people are so addicted to relationships, they'll stay in one that they know is just not serving them.
Yeah.
Cars, material, TV, but there's tons of addictions.
Tiffany says, I'm trying to exercise my courage every day. I know I have purpose, but my fear is my biggest struggle. Fear of failing everything I and my family worked hard for me and myself. So, my thing is you can fail not doing anything. That to me is your biggest failure if you don't do anything. If you just sit idle and just sit on your purpose, sit on your gift, sit on your talent, and you don't do anything, to me, that's failing. But when you take that first step to exercise your purpose, your power, your talent, whatever you want to call it, you're doing something to move in a positive direction. And you cannot just sit on it or you will fail. That means you're going to keep your gift to yourself and you're not going to use it. You're not going to walk in purpose. You're not going to exercise your talent, and you're just going to sit there and just wither away. Well, that's not what we're built for. God does not tell us, I gave you all these gifts, but just sit there and not use them.
One of the things I write down, I have a writing exercise, a couple of them, but I have them inside the book when we talk about dealing with fear. So what I do is I tell people, Write down what you want to achieve and write down all the things that you fear. See if any of these things can really hurt you. If you put no, then those fears aren't real. But if you decide to let those fears stop you, then you have to take all the credit. Just like that. So a simple, and a lot of times when we shine light on fear, it hides.
Yes.
You know, when we shine God's light on fear, it hides. So when we write it down and we look at it and be like, okay, I fear these things, but what's the worst thing can happen? Let's say if these things happen,
right,
and I did these things, if it finds out to be really nothing, then you're making up fears inside your own mind, and it's really not fear. It's really a lack of the self-esteem that we need to be able to tell ourselves that, yes, we deserve it. Yes, we can do it. Fear hides. It hides and it disguises itself. So a lack of self-esteem, a lack of self-worth, a lack of deserving, we will call it something else. But that's to be honest, that's really what it is. If nothing is really in our way and we're stopping ourselves, it's us.
Right. And that's where you start talking about the third step, which is transforming the mind. Mm-hmm. Clinton says this is where the meaningful action is taken to not only battle our fears, but to vanquish them altogether. We have to stop looking for ways to validate why we cannot accomplish a goal. We're giving ourselves excuses, ultimately, of why we can't do something, instead of taking action, knocking down that barrier, and just, continuing to walk forward. But we always come up with some type of excuse. Well, I'm not this, or I'm not that. I don't have the money for this. I can't do it like this. That person does it better than me.
I don't have the time. They say I don't have the time. Yeah. When you got the same 1,440 minutes that everybody else has, from Putin to Obama to whoever, same time.
Yes. And I like what you said. The fourth step is meditation. I am big on meditation. I believe that you must quiet your mind, body, and soul at some period of time. And you said this is a valuable tool with multiple benefits. Talk about what you do on a daily basis as far as meditation is concerned.
Well, I kind of, besides sitting down meditations, I kind of am staying in an aware kind of meditative state kind of throughout the day. And when I feel myself losing that track, I try to get back on. So I'll listen to motivational things. I'll constantly listen to empowering stuff. I'll listen to information that will keep me on track. But over time, these principles have become habits. So my day is almost automatically filtering out things that does not align to what I want to do. One of the things I want to talk about meditation, and a lot of people say they can't do it because they feel they can't quiet their mind. Listen, there's all type of different ways to meditate. For me, I feel the best way to start, if quieting your mind is a problem, now we know the problem, then don't do that. Let's listen to our mind. Let's just sit in here, to let our thoughts run and then trace them until we let that fuel burn off and work them out. So my different meditative processes, that's what they are. And I'm constantly just trying to me, meditating is trying to become in tune with yourself. And for me, our self is, if we're made an image of God, our self is still everything.
Yes.
So when we're getting in tune, we're not just relying on ourselves, we're connecting to everything that we already are. So that's part of my process, but that process took a lot of time and steps. Man, I probably read 10 books on meditation before I did ever meditated.
Yeah, when I first started, it was almost 2 years ago when I first started meditation. I used to just pray a lot, but I got into meditation because I was stuck here by myself. So I said, well, God, give me something that I need to do that's meaningful and purposeful for me to get in tune with me. So I started meditating. The very first time I sat and meditated, I was only able to do it for 30 seconds. And in that 30-second time period, I heard, scratch your ear, pick up your phone, turn the TV on, go look outside. I heard all those things in my mind telling me to do something, and I wrote that stuff down. The very first time I did my meditation, it was like all these things running through my mind. The second time I meditated, it was for 38 seconds. And that particular time, I had rage in my mind, and it was saying, be mean and evil, be mean and evil. I kept hearing that, like, why you want me to be mean and evil? You know, talking back, like, what? Be mean and evil. Just get angry, you know? And so I had to pray against that to kind of counteract the things that were coming in my mind. And now I can pray for over an hour. I mean, I can meditate for over an hour now, sitting still, not even moving. But I walk and meditate too. I walk through the tree, serenity, watching the waterfall, things like that that bring me peace of mind. I would just, take a long stroll. And to me, that's meditation as well. Just letting my mind kind of drift off into the peacefulness of God's creations.
Yeah. And a lot of times people think meditation is some spiritual thing, or like praying to or has to involve other gods and everything like that. And that is one of the biggest misconceptions of what meditation actually is. Mm-hmm. For me, it doesn't have. To me, it's more about understanding my own biosystems. Right. The things that's happening inside my own brain, and it has nothing with a Buddha or a Hindu or none of these other different type of things. And it's not praying, though it could be an act of listening, to God, clearing the clutter so that you can actually hear instead of just broadcasting what you want all the time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's one of the misconceptions people have about meditation is they'll think like it's some type of other religion type thing.
Absolutely. Now, I'm also a firm believer that we must have clarity of our mind, because a lot of us, we become indecisive. We don't know how to make honest decisions for ourselves, or we rush to make rash decisions, and then it all goes bad. But I think if you take some time to meditate, quiet your mind, because we do have a lot going on. There's a lot of things everybody's going through, so there's a time frame that you need to quiet your mind and seek clarity and understanding to be a better you. I absolutely believe that, because it works for me. So I'm not telling you all something that does not work or that I have no knowledge about. It absolutely works. Clinton does meditation. I know meditation works, and I'm pretty sure he can vouch that meditation does work.
And no one thing works by itself. I want to make that clear too. If everybody think that, if I just start doing this, things are going to get better, because you can meditate all you want. If you don't apply action, and not just any action, the right action. And that's one of the things that meditation also helps you to do. It helps you figure out what's the right action for the next thing that you want to do.
Absolutely. I want to thank you all for joining us on the live line tonight. I see quite a few people on the live line. And tonight we're talking about ex-offenders of excellence, but we just went into Clinton's latest book, The Reverse Effect, the 7 life-changing principles. And that kind of, plays right into what we're talking about, our topic tonight. The second half of the show, we're definitely going to dive straight into the Ex-Offenders of Excellence program. But I wanted to thank you all for just joining tonight. I also wanted to let you all know that I just launched Discovering You, which is a coaching program, a motivational coaching program, where I help servant leaders discover their purpose, exercise their power, and walk by faith to live an abundant life. You can connect with me any day of the week using www.lensoffaith.org. Connect with me. I would love to hear from you and work with you. Clinton, let's talk about what you do in the present day as far as the National Organization for Ex-Offenders of Excellence program. Tell us about what you're doing today.
Well, one of the things that I do is, and what you were saying about the book, the stuff that we talked about in the book all still ties into the Ex-Offenders of Excellence program and the 7 life-changing principles. Because one of the things is, so my first life-changing principle, just real quick, is about broadening your perspective. And the second one is mindset. And a lot of times people think that mindset is the key, but I always argue and say, no, mindset is a key, but not the key. Listen, you could be a go-getter, hardworking, make it happen type person. But if you only do that from a 14th Street perspective, you're just not going to go that far. So I tell people you have to broaden the way that you look at things. And this is the same thing to what I do with Ex-Offenders of Excellence. I want to get into the way that these guys and ladies think, the way that they process information, and how they and where they get it from. Because I firmly believe that a lot of times it's conditioning that makes people continue to make certain mistakes, conditioning that might even make some of them think that it's cool until the consequences become too difficult. So that's what I'm actually doing today. I like to spearhead it from going from a mental health perspective. I believe that we have fetal trauma. Definitely, I'm going to speak from an African American trauma starting from the womb, and then dealing with the pressures of just being Black all the way up. And then, though we do have a chance, the system is easily rigged that if we hit certain triggers, we're going to find ourselves going down a hole that's hard to dig our way out of. So that's the main objective of the program, to actually be able to show people what you can still do after you've made mistakes in your past.
So Clinton, tell me, you probably meet ex-offenders a lot. Mm-hmm. What is it that you tell them right off the bat? Like what is something that you directly engage them about, especially someone that's saying, well, Clinton, I can't find a job, man. I'm stuck out here on these streets. I cannot find a job. What is it that you're telling them?
I don't really tell them. I ask them questions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll ask them, okay, what type of job are you looking for? And they'll tell me like such and such and such. And I'll be like, man, I've seen the Chick-fil-A down there. Oh, no, I can't do fast food. So, okay, well, I'm sure. I think I need to be paid like almost $15 an hour. What skills do you have? You know, so this comes down to a self-accountability and self-acceptance. Is I try to get people to say the things that you're wanting to happen, are you in that position to better make them happen? And if you're not, are you willing to do what it takes? And then if they're not, I realize right there, for me, they're just above my skill sets to be able to help. Because I can't really help everybody. So
I don't think we can help everybody, but we can make a valiant effort to put the resources and tools out there. And if people don't want them, guess what? They're not going to utilize them. They're just not going to do it.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like if somebody feels like what I have to offer is not for them, there's nothing wrong with that if that's how they feel. Mm-hmm. And I keep it moving forward, you know. But if somebody comes up to me that, you know, we can't solve problems, or it's very difficult to solve problems if we don't acknowledge and become aware of what the problem is. So I don't tell people what their problem is. They tell me what they want to do, and I'll see if they're doing the things they need to be able to do to achieve that. And then if not, then I'll, you know, let them draw their own conclusions.
Yeah, absolutely. You're going to have to let them draw their own conclusion. You recently went to Ebenezer Baptist Church for an event. Tell us about that event.
To be honest, I went to that event and I was pleasantly surprised. Most of the people at the event, as to stop mass incarceration, were not ex-offenders.
Okay. I
would probably say maybe 20% were. Most of the other people that, to my surprise, to being able to see, because I've been working from within, so I didn't see a lot of this, but most of these people were other people that was truly passionate about helping stop mass incarceration, stop ethnic bias inside incarceration, stop, you know, things where people can't vote, where people can't have their rights, stop people not being treated the way that they should be treated, even once they get in there. I mean, there is a growing, definitely, community of people that sees that this is a real problem.
Right.
You know, that, hey, yeah, you did this and you done that and you done this, but if you get to the point where you want to change, you know, people want to have the resources and places for you.
Whatever offense they've committed, and they're re-entering into the civilian world, coming from prison or jail, and trying to start a life. You know, this absolutely affected my own family. And I remember the day one of my brothers came to me and said, man, sis, I just got all my stuff expunged. And I was happy for him. And I was like, oh my God, that is great. That is a great revelation. And that is, great for him, because now he has a wonderful job, where his whole background is gone because it's all been expunged.
Yeah. And they was also having an expungement process there, because here in Georgia, I think if you like, a lot of times people get charged with things, but it doesn't exactly come off their record. So they had like an expungement drive at the place where people can come in and fill out their paperwork and get their stuff expunged. But back to what you were saying about ex-offenders of excellence, that's one of the main things we are. Is we're a resource, and I'm building it digitally based. And one of the reasons I'm building it digitally is so that someone in California can potentially help somebody here in Georgia, or someone in Alaska, a therapist, a financial agent, a mental health person, a career advanced person. Maybe they can help people in Nebraska. And we can be able to bring everybody together with these different resources. And even to the program that I just been made supervisor over, which is a dorm, where we can help guys getting out, or not even, they don't even have to have been arrested. They could just be going through things in life right now and need a place to go where they can actually take some months out, go through some programs, help get assisted with employment and rebuild their life. So.
Absolutely. I just saw what Harriet said. She's a correctional officer. Harriet, do you have any questions for Clinton since you jumped on the line? Let me know. I'll be watching the comments. But as you know, I know a lot of correctional officers, and they talk about mass incarceration, how they come in by the droves. You know, they're locking up hundreds of people a day. Talk about what is mass incarceration for a second, Clinton. For those in the audience that do not even know what mass incarceration is, tell us about that.
It's when the incarcerations for people that's done nonviolent offense, drug charges, or even so much as license things with driving, that are being incarcerated, and mostly Black people that are disproportionately being incarcerated for maybe their white counterpart might not even get jail time for. And being able to see how, you know, it's believed that it's systematic targeting, especially since a lot of the institutions in the United States have been privatized. So they see this as big business. You know, 30 years ago, it was hard to go to prison. You know, now, you know, it's easy. And it's like you say, targeted more for Blacks. You can have $10 worth of crack cocaine and get 5 years, when the person might have 1 ounce or $1,000 worth of regular cocaine, and they just, you know, might get probation.
Right.
You know, or you know, sometimes we even get shot, you know, when they get wrestled to the ground.
Or killed.
Yeah, I'd say we get shot or killed when they get wrestled to the ground, you know, from stuff like that. But that's what it is, the disproportionate number of African Americans and minorities that get sent to prison when the white counterpart does not. And then how this is actually affecting our family structure, you know, on up. Dad's not there, you know, and then after about 15 years of that, you know, 20 years of that, now it's almost common for the dad might not to be there.
Right.
You know, which is a problem.
A huge problem. And you know, history is starting to repeat itself. You know, these are generational, in my mind, generational curses that are repeated, and they go on and on and on and on and on until someone says enough. Let's break the chain. Let's get educated. Let's do something different to turn the tide.
Yeah.
And that takes courage for the family members of this day and age to even do that.
Yeah.
Because people oftentimes just repeat what's been happening.
Yeah.
Because that's all they know, and they don't want to learn anything different. They just repeat the cycle because they say, "Oh, that's all I know. I don't know anything different, so I'm gonna do
and
this."
They even think that it's cool. When I was in the streets and doing my stuff, a lot of the stuff that I thought was cool, telling somebody, "Oh man, yeah, I got a strong arm robbery," or "Yeah, I've been in prison," or "I've been this and I did that," and yeah, that was cool. You know, so imagine if that's what you're seeing. And then what if you're a guy, what if the girl's like that because you G, and then your little boy seeing it? Now you think you got to be tough, right, or G, you know, and you could call it a curse and a plan, you know, because they have books on how to make this happen. So it's not like, you know, an accident. You know, and a lot of times we don't even commit, statistically speaking, the worst of crimes. we're not really eating. We're not eating people.
Hmm.
We're not really the ones running off into schools.
Yeah.
So
Shoot.
we're having for me, it's a mass mental incarceration. And
Right.
that's one of the reasons why my book, The 7 Life-Changing Principles, and this is not even a sales thing to me because I've sold enough. I sold books. I give books, you know what I mean, to institutions and organizations. Hey, if you work for a prison and you say that they will accept books that come straight from Amazon or from the author, send me the address and I will send them books.
Absolutely.
I will send them 10 books, 20 books. So this is not even a thing because I get mine. I get my money. So this is not even what it's about. But I do know that this is a step-by-step guide from the inside out, how people could transform their life. Like, because we've talked before, but most people wouldn't see me as the guy with 12 gold teeth, as the gang member for 14 years.
Right.
And the thing is I'm not mad. I'm not one of the angry putting out that type of energy. So this is what this is about. And this is what I want people to listen to when they hear me is I want to do something. This is, the mindset of the inmate once she comes out must be changed. It really should be worked on while they're even in there. And it's not even their mindset. A lot of times people use the definition for mindset and they impose it on perspective. They're not the same things. Your perspective fuels your mindset. So the way that they think and interpret data or information or reality around them needs to change. And that should be worked on when they're incarcerated because one, they have the highest chance of not being on drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Drugs kills us as Black people, whether we think it's weed or whatever. That stops us. Get us off of drugs and see how the crime rate goes down.
Mm-hmm.
We will at minimum be better criminals. You know what I mean?
You said at a minimum be a better criminal.
Better criminal, not getting caught as much, thinking through it better. So it has to be worked on once they get on the inside, and maybe even before we get on the inside our school systems. Our school systems don't teach us about self-esteem. It doesn't teach us about personal development. It doesn't teach us how to set and achieve any goal so that we can become goal achievers. It doesn't teach us about finances, credit. It doesn't teach us about, they used to have home ec when we were kids, but they don't even teach you how to take care of yourself. Mm-hmm. So once you get out of school, you at least have a leg up.
Now, does your program teach any of those things?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Will it teach you about finances?
Listen, the conversation with money we have is backwards. So I could say financial literacy. We don't know what we have. For a garbage lunch per day, you could have about $600 a month saved, $15 a day. Mm-hmm. So you think you don't have, but now let's say you buying the Burger King dinner, this lunch, grabbing food at the gas station, which now by the end of the day, it's going to take you about $25. But you say you don't have. And especially people being incarcerated, most people that get incarcerated, they don't have any credit. So if they got with the right people when they came out with the right plan over the course of 1 year or less, they could have A1 credit. Mm-hmm. Now they can get a car, potentially get a place to stay. So I teach those things and also teach about the mental aspect, your choices that you make.
What? Take me to the last time that you were incarcerated and the day you got released. Do you remember the first thing you did when you got out?
The last time I was incarcerated, I got out 2003. I was on the bus ride home. I figured I had this bright future inside me. I just did 17 months. And I knew from almost the third day I was locked up that when I got out this time, I'm not going to do cocaine anymore. Because I was doing cocaine from age 15 to 30. That I wasn't going to drink, smoke cigarettes, smoke weed. I wasn't going to do any of this stuff anymore. I knew this in my heart of hearts. And I figured once I get home, I still got my car because I was supposed to have a girlfriend at the time that was holding my car for me and keeping my dog and holding down my apartment. And I knew this time when I got out, I was on a better footing than I ever was before. On a bus ride home, because usually in Florida, you get locked up from Miami, they're going to send you way up by Tallahassee somewhere or something like that. On the bus ride home is when I found out that I'm not going to have any of these things. My apartment had just got lost the 3 days before, so she had been evicted before then. My car was gone. They neutered my dog, and he's gone, and everything like that. And I didn't have anything. That ride home, that moment, I was like, man, you know what? F it. I should just get me a drink. You know what I mean? And
You
just
almost gave in.
almost. But that's when God was like, boop, 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 McFly, you know, boop, 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 boop. No, if you can't handle test one,
Ooh, come on now.
how do you think that such and such and such? And it was at that point I said, you know what? And I didn't know how my relationship with my mom was going to be, if it was going to be strained, because we didn't have a good relationship at the time. And I didn't really have anybody to fall on, because I really wasn't ever that guy to fall on. Most people came to me. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I said, you know what? Nah, I'm not going back. I'm not going to do it. I'll go stay to a homeless shelter first.
Right.
And when I made that decision, and this is how God works with me, whenever them hard things come up and I make the decision and says, no, I'm going to stick it out. He don't make me wait forever to realize that God is talking to me. He let me know, okay, now here goes the lesson. Here you go. Now this is what you can do. And that's what happened. That's what happened on my bus ride home. Met with that. So when I got out, I had just the clothes on my back, but I was able to go to my mom's house, and I did that for like 2 months, so I was able to get my own place.
What a blessing. Well, I've seen a great turnaround. I've seen your life over the last year and some change, and you're definitely moving and grooving in your purpose, giving life. And I thank God for you. I'm gonna continue to pray for you and ask God to give your program, Ex-Offenders of Excellence, all the resources and tools, and finances that it needs to build upon and become, nationally known, globally known. And just enrich for the public, because it's a program that's definitely needed. There are a lot of offenders out here that just don't know which way to go. They feel like they don't have any resources, but the resources are out here. It's just all about connecting, communicating, share the information. Don't just keep it for your family members, but share it with other families, because you never know what a family is facing. You never know what a family is going through. And times are really hard out here, and we need to share the information. Any lasting words for the audience, Clinton?
Well, how they can actually connect with ex-offenders of audience. Like I say, my thing is trying to be hybrid digital and boots on the ground, so that people can connect from wherever they are and provide resources from wherever they are. And when I say resources, I mean one of the greatest resources I give somebody is information. If you got good information to be able to help someone based on your experience, based on your skill sets, based on your connection to other people, that's what we want. And you can connect on Facebook at Ex-Offenders of Excellence. National organization is our Facebook page. Also, we have a private Facebook group called Ex-Offenders of Excellence, when actually most of the people inside the group are not ex-offender, because what we're building now is the resources so that we can bring to these people. And you can also follow us on Instagram, Ex-Offenders of Excellence. And what else? We have a website, but we're actually getting everything up and running right now, but that'll be up soon. But yeah, that's what we want to do. Is you don't have to be an ex-offender. You could be affected. You could just care. You could just have some information you want to bring. I don't speak all religious languages. So you might be someone from a different background that can affect people that I can't speak to. I'm also not a mom. I might not have that soft touch that some moms might have, and there's also some experiences that I don't have. I can talk about finances, but I'm not a guru, so there you go.
Tell us where to find the book.
Oh, you can get my book from my website is at www.clintonmmccoy.com, and I send out signed copies and I pay for the shipping. And also remember the book, if you have organizations, one of the fundraisers we're about to have is that per donations, whenever we reach $350 of donations, we send 20 books to any institution, program, halfway house, group that will accept them. But if you also have a special person that you know needs a book, you can just hit me up privately inside my inbox and I can make that happen.
Amen. Anything else, Clinton, before we
that's all only thing I can say is, man, most of the fears that's holding us back are the fears that we make up inside of our own mind. If we give those fears no power, they will have no power. And that's when we will start to be able to make all the changes that we want inside of our life. But this comes from a space of knowing that you deserve more and refusing to settle for anything less than you know that you deserve. And that's all I have to say.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. This is Thursday night at 8 with Lens of Faith. I don't know if all of you know it or not, but I have been sending out messages letting you all know that I will now be moving to radio on Saturdays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I need you all to download All Nations Radio app. If you're an Android user, you can download it in the Google Play Store. All Nations Radio, All Nations Radio. If you have an iPhone, you're an iPhone user, please go to your app store and just type in All Nations Radio. It'll pop right up for you. And you can check me out Saturday starting June 29th, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on All Nations Radio. The show is entitled Encourage Yourself. This episode tonight will actually air to All Nations on the first Saturday in July. So if you miss it tonight, you can catch it again on All Nations Radio. And I'm looking forward to my new journey. I am also, I've also launched Discovering You, which is a Facebook group where I help servant leaders discover their purpose, exercise their power, and walk by faith to live an abundant life. I'm here to serve you as a servant leader. I want to help you all get unstuck. It's time out for making excuses. It's time out for saying you don't know how to do something. And it's just time out for, being stagnant in your life. You all have purpose. Each of us were uniquely made by God to do something great. What is your greatness? Why are you sitting on it? Sit on it no more, okay? I need you all to stand up, rise, rock your confidence, and rise to the occasion in which you need to be, okay? If you are an ex-offender, I ask that you
or a supporter.
Go to Clinton's website, Ex-Offenders of Excellence, and check it out. There's a plethora of information already there. They're continuing to build week by week on the site, on the Facebook group. People dropping knowledge, dropping information inside of that group. Don't be afraid to reach out. We're all here to help. We all have a past. I don't care who you are. You might not have been an offender, but you have a past, whether you got caught or not. So, hey, let's help one another. This group is not exclusive to men. It's open to men and women. So don't think that it's a sexist group or anything like that is just for men. It's not. It's for any ex-offender. So please,
or family member of ex-offenders.
Or a family member of ex-offenders.
And supporters or people that are passionate about making a difference inside of it.
Yes. Yeah. If you can bring change, then come on, they'll accept you too.
That's
if you have some information to put out that can help, by all means, log on to the group, get connected, and share your information. I thank you all for joining us tonight. I really appreciate all the support that I have been given over the last year. I did reach my 1-year milestone June 7th. So I thank you all for being willing participants and tuning in to the show. And I ask you to all pray for me as I continue to move forward. God bless you all. Have a great evening. Clinton, stay right there.
So how was those answers?
So much for being on the show today. I would like to thank all my followers and listeners for tuning in to today's show. You have been listening to Walking in Your Purpose, Thursday night at 8 with Lens of Faith. Connect with me now. I want to hear from you. Please like, share, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Lens of Faith Speaks. God bless.